Hello, welcome to Introductory to Psychology. And I would like to do a critique on a man who is a very brilliant as well as a very imaginative person. This man's name was Carl Jung. The most profound book that he had on me as a person was The Archetype of the Collective Unconscious. The archetype of the collective unconscious told and taught us the complexities of the human unconscious. He took the human unconscious and made different characters for different parts of the human condition. The devouring mother, the child archetype, the wild child, the huntress. All parts that really exist within our own unconscious. Psychology as a profession and a discipline is really difficult to understand how the unconscious works. Carl Jung would take complex ideas about the unconscious and he would create them in characters, like for example the trickster. The trickster is a character within our unconscious that has an innate ability to appear humble, yet all through history, all the trickster archetypes would often trick people. Not a nice thing to do, however, the trick had a lesson taught to the person who is being tricked. For example, there was this show on CBC called Trickster. It represented this young boy and it talked about the native indigenous ideas of what a trickster is. He was very intelligent and knew how to make drugs, knew how to make with chemistry. And different parts of the video they would talk about, like, why is my mom talking to herself? What does all of this mean? And that show taught me the importance of looking into your own history, because looking into your own history, your family's history, tells you about who you are, why you're here, and why you come here to this time and place right now. I want to pay attention to a very important part of his book called The Man-Child. I want to talk about this very important part of his book because I've noticed it in university. I wouldn't say children because they're not really children, but you know, they have this new word, adult children, which I don't agree with because you're either an adult or a child. But I want to talk about a phenomenon that I saw. It's called the man-child. You see, since the age of 5 years old, most youth have been told, go to university. If you don't go to university, you're going to be a loser. Nobody's going to want to hire you. Nobody's going to want to fuck you. Nobody's going to want anything to do with you unless you have that piece of paper. So a lot of young men and a lot of young women got caught up in this idea that I need to become something on myself. But the issue was they never did anything. So, I'm going to go to university. That becomes a part of my identity. I'm a university student. You see, a lot of kids are struggling with their identity, but is it a brilliant feat of social engineering? Because what the Democrats have done to our children is they've basically expanded the time from when a kid is a youth and an adolescence and dragged it out until the kid is about 26 or 27, where the kid is acting like a youth. The Democrats knew what they were doing, because if you keep a kid in a university for too long, the kid never learns to take personal responsibility. So it's like, if I'm working at Starbucks all the time because I'm failing to take my responsibility and either learn a trade or take personal responsibility for myself to produce an income for myself, then what you become is like a child forever. You see, if you are in this state, then what you need to do, because Carl Jung said this will prevent you from marrying and having children, Your first step is to learn to take personal responsibility for yourself. Understand that nothing is free. If you take a bus ride, that bus ride isn't free. Everything that you do, you earn a living by taking the time to do the work to earn that living. The Democrats have basically taught a whole generation by giving them free money that you can be entitled, that you don't have to work, to get other people's money to bail you out of your problems. I want to show you a video by Dr. Jordan Peterson. I believe what this video is describing is what Christopher Hitchens describes as mass infantilionism. Adults who are supposed to be like adults are acting like children.